Hello, my name is Aidan and welcome to another Golf Predictor video tutorial. In this video I will talk about the golfer pages on the site, but before I do that I would just like to bring your attention briefly to the notice panel, which you can see there near the top of the page. This notice panel is used to impart information which I think is useful for Golf Predictor members to know. So for example, you can see there that this particular notice just announces the arrival of the new Golf Predictor YouTube channel, which I launched yesterday. These notices usually last about 3 or 4 days on the site, just long enough that most users will get a chance to see it. Okay, that said, let's move on to the focus of this video and the golfer pages. To do that, go to the information menu and select golfers. If you do that, you'll get to this page, which I have preloaded on another tab. On this page you can see all the golfers who have played at least one tournament on the US or European tours since 2003. This corresponds to 5,032 golfers, as the running total tells you there in the introduction. By the way, if you're wondering why since 2003, well, Golf Predictor started in 2008 and I backfilled the database with 5 years worth of historical results. Therefore, the Golf Predictor data goes back to 2003 in all instances. Okay, so looking at the golfer list, you see the normal information about the golfer, and in the columns, the tournaments they've played since 2003, how many they've won, how many top 10s they've had, and how many cuts they've missed. And for these last three metrics, you also have a percentage column which shows you the percentage of wins out of all the tournaments they've played that they've had, and so on for top 10s and missed cuts. Okay, as usual, these columns are all sortable, so if you want to see who has won the most tournaments or who has the highest winning percentage, you can sort on them columns. Alternatively, you can look at one of the charts above the table. For example, if you want to see who has the highest win percentage, you will click on the most wins percentage chart and that will load up. And it's no surprise to see that Tiger Woods, despite his poor form recently, has got by far and away the highest win percentage. So if you hover over his bar, as usual, more information appears. You can see that he has won just over 24% of all the tournaments he has played since 2003. As you can see, the next best is Phil Mickelson, and he's won a paltry 8.4%. So Tiger has won about 3 times more golf tournaments that he has started than his nearest competitor. Truly impressive stats, you'd have to agree. So going back to the previous page, we will now look at a golfer data page to see the kind of information you can see about each individual golfer. Okay. So let's use Tiger Woods as an example. So there are 3 ways you can find Tiger Woods' record in this page. You can either go to W and search through the W's for Tiger Woods. You can go to the Golf Predictor search page and make sure you select golfer and type in part of Tiger's name. Or the third way, which we'll use here, we already know that Tiger has the highest win percentage, so if we click on that column. Okay, so the first sorting is by the lowest to the highest, so we just click again from highest to the low. And there you see we have Tiger on top of the pack. So as we saw before, he's won 24.1% of his tournaments, of the 199 in total he's played since 2003. Okay, so if you click on either Tiger's first name or surname as usual, you will be brought to the golf data page for him. And as usual, I've preloaded that on another tab. This page contains a wealth of stats on the golfer in question. For example, for Tiger, you can see his overall stats since 2003, his stats in regular tournaments, in majors, in WGC events, and in FedEx Cup events. And in each of those cases, you see the number of tournaments he's played, and the amount of cuts he's missed, his average finishing position, his best and worst finishes, his wins and win percentage, and so on. So the same stats are available for each type of tournament, except the missed cuts statistic from WGC events, because those events do not have cuts. So as usual with these panels, you can hide any of them you're not interested in, or you can minimize them by clicking on the double arrows, and you can display them again by clicking again on the same arrows. Underneath those informational panels you have his overall career round scores. So you can see what was Tiger's lowest first, second, third, fourth round of his career, and also which were the worst. And interestingly, if you hover over any of the scores, as usual, you will see where those scores occurred. And for example, you can see that most of Tiger's bad scores happened this season, i.e. 2015, which is no surprise given the way he's been playing. Okay. Underneath the round scores, you have a tournament list. So you can see all the wins for that golfer since 2003. Normally this would be a fairly small list, but for Tiger it's very extensive because it contains 48 results. Then under that you have all the top 10s. Again, you wouldn't expect a huge number, except for Tiger Woods we're talking about, so he's got over 100. And then you have all his missed cuts, which for Tiger is unfeasibly small, despite his recent play. And then underneath that you have all the results regardless of where he finished, so you can look at all the tournaments and all the results that Tiger played in since 2003 by going through any of these tables. As usual, hovering over the linkable tournament name will give you more information, and if you click on any of these links you will be brought to the relevant results page. Okay, so also if we go back to the top of the page, we'll see some of the charts just to finish off. So for example, you can see here that in his overall career you get a little chart icon besides the tournament played, and these icons are in every section. So if you wanted to see Tiger's record visually in, say, majors, go down to the majors panel and click on the little icon. It's a little pie chart icon, so you'd expect to see a pie chart, and there you see it. So you can see the key to the pie chart up here in the top right corner. You can see that Tiger has 17 top 10s and 6 victories in the majors since 2003, which corresponds to 23 top 10s in total, which is just over 50% of the tournaments he has entered. So that's pretty impressive. So we close that again and go back to the page. If you want to get an overview of Tiger's career, you can click on this more advanced stack chart here on the top, just above the overall career panel. So we click on that. And this chart shows you how Tiger's performed overall since 2003 and in each of the tournament types: regular, major, WGC and FedEx Cup. So again, there's a key on the chart, this time across the top, where red indicates a win, blue other top 10s, and so on. So you can see, for example, if you hover over any of the bars or bar segments, you will see more information. So you can see that Tiger has won 48 times from 199 events. They are stats we have already seen in this tutorial. So a very interesting chart where you can see a snapshot of a player's career at a single glance. Okay, so we'll close that. So you can see there is a tremendous amount of information for each golfer on the site. However, note that you must be a subscriber to see all this information, so please consider subscribing to get the most out of Golf Predictor. Well, that's about it for this tutorial. I hope you found it useful, and thanks for watching.